Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. The hopeful elect, man. Another Sabbath class. Um, I'm Azrael. I'm gonna be spearheading this one today, alongside the brother Denal, the brother Yeshaya. We're gonna talk about. You see the lesson title, "Black Cowboys of the Lord." Why did I title that? I titled that because a lot of people are looking up black cowboys nowadays. So I wanted to, kind of pop up on their feed, and also because uh, the cowboys of the Lord were indeed black men, right? The cowboys of the old west were originally black men, right? In the Bible, you're gonna read about cowboys. There's a lot of cowboys in the Bible, man, a lot. Um, and they were called herdsmen, cattlemen, shepherds, right? And it's all twofold, meaning what? Um, you can get a spiritual sense out of something physical. But without further ado, I want to say we want to give all glory, praises, and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who sent His Son as an instrument of salvation for the nation, and that nation is Israel, right? That cannot be gainsaid nor resisted, right? So shalom to all the brothers and the sisters, man, getting edified, um, or that's coming to fellowship, and also shalom to all the cleavers out there that's doing their part as well. Getting straight into it, we got a video we're gonna play today. The brother Denal talked about becoming fishermen and fishing, right? We're gonna keep it in the agricultural area, right? And we're gonna talk about herding, right? Let me pull up these first three precepts. This is show y'all some cowboys in the Bible, and then we'll play the video and break the video down bit by bit, right?
Con.
Hold up. Salakia. Genesis 1, we're going to start at verse 26, if you could read that.
Genesis 1 and verse 26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth."
Right. So from the conception of man, right, Adam, he was over the cattle, man. He was a herdsman. He was a what? A cowboy, right? He was a cowboy. This is in Genesis chapter 1. We reading about cowboys, right? Let's go to Genesis 46.
Oh, yeah.
Genesis 46, man. We're gonna read
Through 34, I think.
Con. We're gonna read about Joseph. Joseph was an Israelite, right? Uh, a so-called black man today, right? Negro man, and he got promoted in Egypt. And what he was trying to do was he was trying to find a place for his fellow Israelites, his family, his brothers and sisters, right? His dad, Jacob, Israel. And so this is him preparing or planning his proposal to Pharaoh, right? For his brethren. Let's see how he describes his family, right? Genesis 46 and 31.
Con. And Joseph said unto his brethren and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, My brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me.
Right? Hey, he's saying, hey, Pharaoh, my family, I'm not an Egyptian. I don't belong to these Hamite nations. But guess what? My family, they have came up from the land of Canaan to me after so long. Right? Verse 32.
Verse 32. And the men are shepherds, for their trade has been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have.
Right? And so cattle can go into not just cows, but a lot of other animals too, right? And here we see the interchangeable word of a shepherd, right? You have a lot of shepherd dogs, right? Different type of shepherds. You got Australian shepherds, German shepherds. You got um, border collies. You got blue healers. You know, don't want to get on a rant with dogs, but you got a bunch of shepherds, and what they do is they keep track of the cattle, whether that cattle be sheeps or goats or cows or bulls,
Blue
whatever.
healers.
Yeah, Con, I said that
Oh, my
right.
bad. Great Pyrenees.
If you don't know what a blue healer is, if you got kids, man, that's what Bluey is. He's a blue healer, right? But yeah, man. So shepherds, you know, it's interchangeable with that word cowboy. So we know who the good shepherd is. The good shepherd is Christ, and he set an example for us. And now we have shepherds, right? We're shepherds of that same flock now that he's left us in charge, right?
God,
So right here off rip, Joseph is saying his family is known for being cowboys. They're known for being shepherds. And our people, this is how we know that originally we were the original cowboy, because the natives, right? The Native Americans, the original the so-called Africans that came over from the transatlantic slave trade, these are the people that we are coming from the slave coast, and we're the people that taught how to farm. We're the people that taught how to keep cattle. We're the people that taught how to shepherd. We're the same people from the book of Genesis. It's in our blood to keep these animals, right?
God, God.
Verse 33.
And it shall come to pass when Pharaoh shall call you and shall say, what is your occupation?
Because these other nations never believe us. Even when they promote us, they don't believe us. They always got a second check. So I'm telling Pharaoh what y'all do, but he just know he gonna ask y'all what y'all do, and y'all let him know what y'all do. He's gonna ask what's y'all's occupation to to
Because
to to validate my story.
because at the time, man, you gotta understand Pharaoh in Egypt, he still has a political business mind. Okay, we can allow you guys to come in, but what are you gonna bring to the table? What do y'all do? What can y'all provide for Egypt? Right?
Man. And a lot of us didn't flee to the north because our lives had became somewhat pleasurable here in the south, right? Because of how good we were with the cattle and things of that nature. So, a lot of them, that's where a lot of our people started getting land from their slave owners and stuff like that to stay around, because they didn't know how to keep the cattle. We was keeping the cattle in the fields for so long. They didn't know how to do it, right? And so if you um we added to the society, and that's why they kept us around and tried to make what's the word, concession for us, or I don't think that's the right word, but nonetheless, talking to some Israelite brothers the other day, um they're bringing in a new class of immigrants because they America feels like the black man and woman and child has gotten lazy. They don't think we can provide anything for Salakia. They don't think that we can provide anything for this country.
God, man, just to piggyback off of that, you know what I'm saying? And we talk about this all the time. 9 times out of 10, when you see, it was once upon a time, man, black people used to be hard workers. You know what I'm saying? But now you ride around and you see people on the side of the roads that's doing construction or working on the roads or anything, right? You're gonna see three manner of people, right? You're gonna see Esau out there, right? Esau is usually the one walking around, right, pointing at stuff. He might have a clipboard in his hand, you know what I'm saying? He might get in the trenches and start working a little bit. You're gonna see the Hispanics out there, they really gonna be working. They're the ones that's gonna be dirty, got the sombrero hats on, and they're gonna be getting to it. And 9 times out of 10, when you see Jake out there, he's standing amongst all of them and he on his phone, right? Jake over there, leaning against the truck, right? And so, like, to the brother's point, man, it's getting to a point where Jake in this nation has become lazy, and it's kind of bittersweet because uh, at the same time, it's kind of like, man, they done got all this free labor out of us. It's kind of our time to rest. But at the same time, man, the Most High definitely tells us that because of our misbehavior and our rebellion, that we would earn these things by the sweat of our brows. So we still got to put in that work. It's not our time for rest yet. But like to the brother's point, man, in this nation, Black people are being looked at as lazier and lazier everywhere we go. And you can witness that probably even in the job that you work in, wherever you work
Right.
at, right?
Right. And don't get it twisted, man. We believe that you know, Hispanics of Negro descent, natives of Negro descent, we believe they are people too. So, they have that work ethic that we once had, and they're going to get blessed for their work ethic, just like we got blessed for our work ethic to an extent. We understand there was still slavery, but all throughout time, the way we got promoted in society, the way that we got noticed, the way that we had, for example, the Romans make a new calendar, including the Sabbath day, is because we were the driving force of the society, right? And this is nothing new, right? So Joseph got to where he was because he was providing things for Pharaoh. And if Pharaoh's trying to let his family in, Pharaoh wants to know what he's going to get out of letting more of Joseph in, right? And so this is what they're going to tell Pharaoh when Pharaoh asks.
Man, one of my favorite precepts right here, man. Genesis 46:34, that ye shall say, thy servant's trade has been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, right? So not even just the Israelites, but even going back to Abraham, right? They were doing these things, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians,
Right.
right?
And
And
so
all that's my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and all that saying at the end, man, where it says, uh, the job of a shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians, is that they were above doing that type of work. Just like when we were in slavery, and you research about the cowboys. Cowboys was a derogatory term because the white people were above doing that type of work, right? And so in the land of Egypt, you didn't really see Egyptians being shepherds and cowboys and cattlemen, right? They were the ones above. They were paying for this stuff to get done. You know what I'm saying? And so at this time, when they're saying pretty much what Pharaoh's saying, what can you bring to us? It's saying, man, we're coming in as Israelites saying we can handle all the dirty work. Pretty much what Mexicans do when they come to the Americas, right?
Right.
We can handle all your dirty work because
Right.
it's an abomination to you. You guys don't want to get in the trenches and do it, so we'll do it.
Right. And that's they're becoming immigrants into the land of Egypt, and um they're trying to make way the best they can, and they're gonna attack a weak spot. We know that you guys don't like doing this job. We could come and do this job for you. And keep in mind, for all those that are questioning, how do you know if they're black? You gotta look, man. What place in the earth are they in? They're in Egypt. We understand the ancient Egyptians were black. We understand that the Israelites were always being mistaken for Egyptians. So at this point, we understand that the place in the world they're in is like Northern Africa, right? When we think about cowboys, when we think about shepherds and stuff, our mind don't go to Africa. But here we're seeing in the Bible that it's documented that this is where it actually came from, the act of herding sheep and herding cattle and taking care of animals and farming and tilling the land. It goes back to Cain and Abel as well, right? So not only his forefathers like Abraham, but it goes way back. It's in the blood, right? So they've been about their cattle since they were youth, right? And the difference is we don't get raised that like that anymore. So we can't see the spiritual aspects of it. We get raised in sports. And so now a lot of brothers in the truth, I'm not knocking it because we do it too. A lot of us, we have to get our spiritual wisdom from the sports that we played, right? Or the music and the musician and some of the talents that we grew up in, because we're not the same people anymore as far as what we're learning, because they pretty much replaced all the things that were important to us as a nation and put folly in our lives to keep us in a in a mental slavery, right? So that we'll be satisfied with folly. I want to get one more precept before we go into the video. Amos 1:11.
God, Amos 1:1.
1:1, my bad.
The words of Amos, who was among the herdmen of Tekoa, which he saw concerning Israel in the days of Uzziah, the king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the scroll up, the earthquake.
Man. So here I'm just pulling out that Amos, the great prophet, the dad of Isaiah, right, was a herdman, right? And when we look throughout the Bible, a lot of the men that were used were shepherds and herdsmen, right? A lot of the kings that were used were shepherds and herdsmen. And that's for a reason, man. That kind of shows God they have the patience. It shows God they're willing to get dirty. It shows God they're willing to do hard work, right? And God, you know, he's taken that over and over and over again and added unto them, right? So let's get into this video, man. I got some markers.
We got up.
My thing is just like late, man. It's late. Should I have it?
Yeah, go back to the other view.
All right. Or should I do the present view? Nah, I'll do that view. All right. Could y'all hear it?
Yeah. I can't hear nothing.
I mean, I'm not playing it now, but for the brief second that it was playing.
Yeah, I heard it.
All right. I'm going to refresh the page.
A sidebar. Tekoa is a fire name, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's a fire name. It means trumpet. Settlement area in Israel. It's a fire name. Tekoa.
See when you get up and can't see when you lay there.
How long will it be?
You want me to pull it up, bro?
I got it.
In the morning, 9 at night.
I'm just
Why the
trying,
view? Why is the view now? Listen, sometimes you gotta readjust the minimization.
I understand.
Screen.
I'm trying to get the video straight first.
Stop. You ain't gotta pull it super wide like that. It looks better when it's smaller, but because it looks cut off right there. Just leave it right there. Scroll back down. Yeah, right there. Or whatever, man. Yeah, you might as well just keep it like that.
Can't see when you get up and can't see when you lay there.
How long will it be?
I'm mad you can't like rewind this.
3 o'clock to 9.
Just refresh the page.
Yeah, but whenever I refresh it, the sound is off, so it starts.
In the 9.
You gotta be quick.
Bear with us, Israel. IT is having issues.
You gotta be quick with it.
Come on, IT.
You should be able to open it up and you should be able to move the cursor.
I think I got it. But we talking about IT. This man's name is Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Youngblood. That's a fire last name. That's a fire last name. No cap.
All right, I'm about to play it.
Got up and work from cant to cant. You know who cant to cant is? Can't see when you get up and can't see when you lay there.
Right. I'm going to stop it right there real quick. The brother said work from cant to cant. Right. I want to go to Micah 2:10 and Luke 14:28. Let's go to Micah.
You can type it in the search bar too if it helps on that.
Dang it. Yeah, I think I'll do that next time. Micah 2:10. And what was the other one I said? Luke. Luke 14:28. Yeah, man. I know on y'all side it's probably looking kind of clear or looking like it's fluent. But from my side, man, whatever I do is like choppy. So I don't it's just like I don't know. Like even my banner on my side, it's like choppy. It's not scrolling like very fluent.
Nah, I mean you sound fluent, but your screen is lagging. It's like
It is.
watching an Asian movie right now where your lips is moving faster than the words that coming out your mouth.
Yeah, so yeah, you bear with me, man.
Brother having issues.
So bad Wi-Fi. So this right here is a prophecy of one of the minor prophets, Micah. Somebody could read this, Micah 2:10.
Micah, the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10, and it reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction."
Right. So spiritually, man, the elder on the video said they work from cant to cant, meaning when you can't see when you wake up and you can't see when you go to sleep, or when your day's over with. Meaning it's dark in the morning when you wake, right? And it's dark in the evening when you go home. So I say that to say, man, there's no rest in this life, man. There's no rest in this truth. There's no rest in this gospel. We got to be ready to be on it when we wake up, right? And we got to wake up early, and we got to be able to work all day. A lot of us, man, we take breaks in the truth. Can't take breaks in this truth, man. You got to be ready to work all day. You can't be that brother to say, "Oh, my feet hurt." You can't be that brother to say, "My legs hurt. I need to sit down." And you know, brothers will say that when you out there evangelizing. Brothers would say it's too cold. Brothers would say it's too windy. It's storm. It's about to storm. It's you got to be able to do the work. This is not our land of our rest, right? The land that we're in right now. We're not in the kingdom. This land is polluted, right? This is not where we're working. We're not working to build a life here in our captivities, right? Now we do know Jeremiah says to build houses and plant gardens so we can sustain and be fruitful and multiply. But this is not our rest. Meaning, you shouldn't learn this truth and just sit on your butt and just watch videos every Sabbath. You should be doing stuff actively throughout the week, right? Because this is not our rest. Like, let's get Luke 14 and 28.
Luke 14 and Luke chapter 14, verse 28. And it reads, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?"
Right, man. If you sign up to be a man of the Lord, a woman of the Lord, a cattleman, right? You got to count the cost. You got to know that you're gonna have a lack of sleep. You have to know you're gonna lose some peace. You're gonna lose some rest, and you just got to say, like when you first have a baby, right? Off rip, if you don't prepare yourself mentally to say, "I'm gonna lose sleep when this baby comes," you're gonna be in a world of hurt. You're gonna be irritated. You're gonna be upset when that baby's crying at all times of the night, right? Because you didn't prepare yourself. You didn't count the cost before you had that baby, right? Same thing like anything in life. You want to be a doctor, you're gonna have to lose some sleep for sleeping, right? You want to, the things that you want, you're gonna have to sacrifice, and you're gonna have to work from cant to cant, right? Let's go back to the video.
On with the day. I say from 3 o'clock to 9, 3 o'clock in the morning, 9 at night for 50 cents a day. And now people going, well, every time you turn around, they want a break. A break. Man, we didn't know what a break was. On time, we got something broke about our bone.
Right? Ain't no break in this thing, man. Ain't no break in this thing. This thing I'm talking about is the truth. But he makes a good point, man. Nowadays, it's even worse. Like this is an old video, right? He wasn't talking about 2024. In 2024, it's mandatory if you get a job, man, you're supposed to have at least 2-3 breaks at that job, at least a lunch break. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting no breaks. We don't get no breaks in this truth, in this gospel. You got to be always ready to answer brothers and sisters. You got to be always ready to help somebody out in charity. You got to always be ready to read and to study, or whatever. You got to be always ready to keep these feast days. You got to be always ready to keep the Sabbath day and not defile it. Right? You got to always be ready to keep yourself in these laws, statutes, and commandments. It's a daily thing from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. Ain't no breaks. The moment you get a break, the moment you make a bad choice in life, and now you got to live with that bad choice for the rest of your life, and your life suck, right? Because of something you did, right? You can't take, even when your life do suck because of nothing that you did, you may be doing everything right, it's still no breaks. You got to keep doing what you got to do. Yeah, things may not be going your way. Brother, you started this thing out making videos. Now, hey, look, when I was a young bull, and we had PE class, the teachers they would hype you up. Let's see who can run the mile the fastest. And you run, you give your all, and now you done set yourself up for the rest of the year. Now they telling you they seen how fast you can run. You can't get below that for the rest of the year, right? A lot of us, man, we came in this truth strong, and now the Lord know what we can do. And the moment you take a break, man, the Lord finna spit you out, because He gonna know that you lukewarm now. He gonna know you took a break, right? He gonna know that you can do more, right? Just like with the slaves, when the slave master know what the slaves could do, he on them. Once I know what these cattlemen can do, if I know they can work from cant to cant, every day they working from cant to cant. And the moment they slack off, I know I don't need them no more. And so the same thing with this truth, man. The most I know, hey, look, brother, you came in this thing strong, making videos. You don't make videos no more. I don't need you. I don't need you in my field. I don't need you in my harvest. You're not worth nothing to me. You slacking off on me, boy. You came in this thing, you was doing charity at least once a month, and now you don't do it no more. God know what you can do, and you done slacked off. You came in this thing and you used to do conference calls with sisters, right? And now y'all don't do that no more. Y'all done got complacent because God gave you a husband and God gave you some kids, right? So God knows how much you can do, man. And there's no breaks in this. It's no breaks in this, right? I want to get this real quick. Luke 9:62. We're gonna stay in Luke 9. Hold up. Yeah. Luke 9:62. Nope, don't want to do that. Did one of y'all have something to say? Man, Luke 9:62.
I got a precept though, but I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Because you might bring it out, so I'll wait to the conclusion.
What's the precept? I'll look real quick.
Romans 12:2.
No, I don't have that.
But this is Luke 9:62, and it reads, reading it as written, for the lost sheep. And Jesus said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God.
God, man, when you take a break, man, that means you put that plow down. Hey, Christ don't want you to put that plow down. He wants you to get blisters on your hands. We're not in the land of our rest. It's too much work to be done. He don't want you to go back into the world. He don't want you to slack off. He done seen you, and he done seen what you can do with that plow. So now he expecting you to do that plow every day. Ain't no, except for the Sabbath day, but ain't no putting the plow down. When you look back, man, that's when you want to put the plow down and take a break and get some water and sit down and rest And the thing about it, people that run marathons, they'll tell you when you stop, when you give your body the rest, right? Your body's not going to want to keep going. Even the brothers and sisters that be going to the gym, y'all know if you stop mid rep, sometimes your body going to give up. You're going to just be sitting on that floor for about 20 more minutes, right? When you should have just finished that rep and then took your break, right? So that's what it means, man. We don't get no breaks. But you said Romans what? 12 and what?
Romans 12:2. You didn't have to bring it out right now, though. We could have waited.
All right. We go back to the video.
You eat breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning and then take a ride out there all day. And drink water whenever you had a chance to go around a windmill. If not, there was artesian wells that the water bubble up. You would try to get the fresh water and drink out of the same trough that the cows would drink out of. There was nothing to do that. And we would ride all day, put tassel in our bag to eat lunch off of. Tassel, that's I guess you would call it beef jerky nowadays, but it was tassel.
Right. So he said he would put tassel in the bags, right? They would go all day and all they would have was tassel in the bags, man. That means they didn't really prepare for the day like that. They just went out and did the work.
I ain't gonna lie, man, right? He said it was nothing to them, man, meaning they did it often, drinking out of cows' troughs. I don't know if you guys ever rode by a trough of an animal, man, especially where they keep the water in, but it's not a pretty sight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it has a greenish tint to it. You know what I'm saying? And that just goes to show how, how we were making it back then, right? And then, I always think to myself, like, man, anything that's close to being clean water, if it was a famine or whatever, you wouldn't think twice to go ahead and drink it. Even if you saw animals drinking out of it, you know what I'm saying? You might get a little bit of cow spit in there, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, this is how our people were living, man. They said it was nothing to drink out of the cows' troughs, man, right? It was nothing. We used to do it all the time. I mean, and we say stuff like, man, we used to drink out the water hose out the side of the house all the time, stuff like that. Man, me personally, I can't remember the last time I did that. I got to get back to doing that. I got to see what that be like. You know what I'm saying? Because those were some cool times, and just to know that all would be still well, and that, I mean, I just feel like that type of stuff kind of builds character and puts things in perspective, man.
Come on, man. So the point I want to make here, after one of the brothers read this, is in this truth, in this walk, you may start, you may be limited in resources. You may be limited in things that you have, and you may think, I don't have enough to complete my task, right? I don't have enough to make it through the day, right? But like these brothers said, man, you do it every day, it's going to turn into nothing. Like, it's nothing to do this. Meaning your body's going to form a habit. Your spiritual man is going to form that habit, and you're going to start to be comfortable where once you was uncomfortable, right? If somebody could read this real quick.
Luke 9:3. And he said unto them, take nothing for your journey, neither staves, nor scrip, neither bread, neither money, neither have 2 coats apiece.
So this is what Christ was telling his disciples. He said, don't bring no staves, don't bring no scrip, don't bring no money, don't bring no bread, don't bring no food, right? Hey, look, and they probably thinking, man, how you expect us to be going to all these different nations and all these different cities with all the necessities that we need, right? But he's saying, I'll provide those things. He's saying, go and be the bottom of the barrel. Because, for some reason, we got to be able to connect with the people, right? The people ain't going to connect with you if you don't share the same struggles they share, right? And I'm just saying that because, in the video, the brother said they didn't have much in their bags to do the work. And they doing gruesome work. They might have to, jump off their horse and tackle a baby calf. They may have to rope and pull the calf and do a lot of strenuous stuff, be on the back of a horse all day in the heat in the sun, right? that, hey, being on a horse is not just like chilling on a couch. You got to have a tight core. You got to have, good leg strength, all that stays tense the whole time. It's hard work. So you may not feel like you have what it takes or what it needs to get the job done. But trust me, you can get the job done with what's given to you, right? Let's go back to the video.
But it was tassel that we would eat. Just take your sandwich, and then you come back in the evening. That's when you ate your big meal.
We gotta cook, and don't make him mad, because you come in, it won't be no dinner cooked. Everybody.
Right? What he say? You gotta cook. Now they out all day doing the work. And he said, it's easy to get mad at the cook that's back home chilling on the ranch. Right? It's easy to get mad at the cook, but he said don't get up upside the cook, because you get back after all your hard work, and even though he been chilling, he could just slack off, and now you gotta wait for your food. Right? So that reminds me of this right here, right? Let's go to Matthew 18, verse 6 through 7. Right? You may be working hard, man. You may think that you put a lot of work in. You may think that somebody's not putting as much work in as you, and that they should cater to you, right? They should join you. They should worship you, right? A lot of people in different organizations get a big man syndrome or a God complex, right? But if somebody could read this real quick.
Con. The book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse number 6. It says, "But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea."
Right, man. You're not supposed to offend one of these little ones. That chef, that cook, he may be a little one to you, but don't offend him, because, hey, look, you're going to feel like you was drowned in the depths of the sea when you get back after a long days of work and ain't no food and no water cooked for you. You're going to be pissed, right? So don't piss off the little ones, right? While you're working, yeah, man, you may feel like you're doing a lot of work, man, and you feel like you need to be catered to, but don't piss off the little ones, man, because it could just make everything a lot more worse.
Everybody can't cook on a camp. You see, they use Dutch ovens and things like that, and open fire and racks and everything. They might take a quarter of a keg and build a rack, run a rod through it, and build a fire under the meat. And every once in a while, you turn it over, you see. You keep turning it over. That's your good eating.
Our main dish was pinto beans. It wasn't pinto beans in those days, were red beans. And it take y'all half a day to cook a red bean, but they put them on so early in the morning until, my Lord.
We used to run cattle from the Duke Ranch out to Greeter, and that was about 18 miles where we would drive cattle. You get up early in the morning, you drove cattle all day practically. You didn't get out there till maybe about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, driving maybe about 1,000 head of cattle to be shipped out. And I did that I don't know how many times.
Said he drove cattle. They drove cattle all day, right? So I want to read this precept, man, because, man, in this truth, man, it's going to feel like longevity. It's going to feel like long suffering. It's going to feel like a long time coming, like Sam Cooke said, right? But at the end of the day, we counted the cost, and we know this, right? Let's go to Matthew 9:37.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 9, and verse number 37. And it reads, "Then saith he unto his disciples, The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few."
Yeah, man, the laborers are few, man. So we're going to have to drive cattle all day, because it ain't a lot of us out here, right? And it's up to us to get the job done. And the harvest is what? Plenteous. A lot of miles on this harvest, man. He said 18 miles. It's a lot of miles to cover, right? This harvest is huge, right? His people are scattered everywhere. We got a lot of work to do, right? Verse 38.
Verse 38. It says, "Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest."
Right, man, because I'm pretty sure every cattleman, every cowboy, every shepherd, they like them day hands, right? If they can vet them day hands and know that them day hands know what they're doing, they like and they'll take the extra hand, right? We'll take the extra help. Go ahead, saddle up. you know so we got to pray that the Lord bring more of us into this truth, man, to help us do this work, to refresh our spirits, right? When brothers are in organizations and new brothers come in, that's what them brothers do, is they refresh the spirit of the brothers that's already in that organization, and put a new fire under them. They remind them of when they were young, right? So we pray that the Lord send forth new laborers to help us in this harvest, because the harvest is so plenteous, right? Maybe if they had more herdsmen, maybe they can get the job done quicker in the day, right? They cover those 18 miles a lot faster.
I think I can to improve the cattle that I'm taking care of. And one guy told me, said, you show more interest in the cattle than the man who owns the cattle. Well, whenever I ride the pasture.
I want to stop that real quick, right? He said you show more interest in the cattle than the man who owns the cattle, right? I got here in my notes that we're supposed to be good shepherds, right? When you good shepherds, you don't care about the man that owns the animal, you care about the animal, right? We are like this elder right here. When Christ left, we're put in charge of his flock, just like he asked Peter, right? And we'll get to that in a second. But we're over these flocks, right? These flocks are the people. These flocks are his chosen, the elect, right? That's what we're hurting. That's who we're bringing back to the Lord. Those are the dry bones we waking up. They don't belong to us. They belong to him. They belong to the Most High, but we still got to care for them like they're our own. And the best example of that, Salakia, the best example of that is Christ. So we're gonna get an example of Christ and how he treated the sheep, right? Which are the people. John 21:17.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 21, verse number 17. And it says, "He said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. And Jesus said unto him, Feed my sheep."
Right, man. So that was commissioned to us, just like it was commissioned to Peter. We got to feed the sheep. We got to care for the cattle, man. We got to care for the cattle, right? Just like the old man said in the video, we got to show more interest in the cattle than the one that owns the cattle, right? And a lot of times in the scriptures, man, we see this. For example, like in Second Esdras, when he's asking the angel, why would you do this to your people? Why have you got your people in this state, X, Y, and Z? And the angel of the Lord said, the Father said, right? He said, the Father said, who are you to question me about my creation? Right? But that's because Ezra, right? He had grew a love for the sheep that that now we can't surpass the love that the Father had, but take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. His love for the people has surpassed that of the owner, right? That means that's how much he cared for his people, right? What was you gonna say?
I wanted to bring a precept in the same book. I think you going
All right,
there
1 second.
already.
I'm about to get John 10 and
10 and
11.
12.
Well, I was gonna do 11
Through 13.
yeah, well, I was gonna do through 18.
Yeah, I was gonna do 12 through 13. That's really the gist of it. But come,
This is John chapter 10, starting at verse 11.
I'll read it. John 10 and 11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
Right? It don't matter who owns the sheep. If you're a good shepherd, you're gonna give your life for the sheep. The verse
Right.
that Denal wanted is verse 12. Let's read verse 12.
Verse 12. Well, really 12 and 13. But verse 12. But he that is a hireling, and not the shepherd, who owns the sheep, are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. And the wolf catches them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep.
Bring out what you was gonna bring out.
Now, I was just gonna bring out, man. It's just, for those that are in the spirit, man, it's always been in us to care for those things, right? Even if they're not ours. Just like the video said, somebody had told him, man, you care for the sheep more than the owner, right? Because it should be something innate inside of us, especially us Israelites, that have a care for the things that we were put in dominion over, right? To have a care. I mean, there's plenty of precepts in the Bible talking about to care for your beasts, right? They even get from the Bible where there's really supposed to be an order into which you eat, right? And it's not like nothing concrete or anything, but just going by the principles of the Bible. Sometimes when you read, you're supposed to wake up early in the morning, and really your animals are eating before you. Why are they eating before you? Because sooner or later they're going to be providing the food for you in the same sense, right? But it all starts with that care. The video we watched on Wednesday, right? The man said, "Hey, you take good care of the animals; they'll take good care of you. You feed them the best; they'll produce the best. You treat the best. You know what I'm saying? They'll give you the more bang for your buck in a sense, right? And so." He also went on to say, when the animals are depressed, right? One, they're going to have attitudes. Two, they're not going to want to produce for you, right? It's all about building that relationship with these animals, just like the Most High has built a relationship with us and liken us unto dumb animals and things like that, and animals that can't care for ourselves. He looks at us that way because that's what we are, according when it's compared to him, the all-knowing, all-powerful. Same thing with these animals that can't provide for themselves. We're supposed to have that same care for them, right? Meaning we can't get frustrated when they act up and stuff like that, but we're supposed to be there for them, care for them, nurture them, and not act like the hireling in this parable. This is one of my favorite parables, but
Right. If we could read verse 14.
Verse 14, I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine.
Right. So we're supposed to be that good shepherd, just like him. Right. The people supposed to know who to go to when they need help. They're supposed to know who to go to when they need prayer, healing. They're supposed to know who to go to when they, need somebody to vent to. Right. Nowadays, we got a lot of our people. We don't trust each other because we don't know who is a good shepherd and who isn't. And then we'll end up paying for therapists, and we'll end up paying for strangers that we don't know, that's not in the truth, to give us advice and things of that nature. And that's because, like the prophecy said, our pastors have scattered the flock, right? And we're blind, we're groping at noonday because there's not enough good shepherds. We got to be that good shepherd, just like this black cowboy in the video. He understands that they might not be his cows, but them cows gonna know his voice. Them cows gonna know who he is. He gonna know them cows like the back of his hand. Who got a cyst on them that needs to get popped? Who got a disease that need to get injected? Who needs to be stamped and branded? He gonna know. He gonna know which one got a stripe. He gonna know which one got a black spot on their belly. He gonna know, right? Because he's a good shepherd, right? Let's read verse 15.
Man, and just to piggyback off of that, it just said, man, the good shepherd, he's gonna stay and fight that wolf when it comes. When that wolf comes, a hireling is gonna flee. We gotta do a better job as brothers and sisters and being ourselves keepers when trouble arises, to stand boldly for each other, right? I was watching the Nipsey Hussle footage of the day he got shot, the last 25 minutes of him outside and whatnot, of his store and whatnot. And when them shots went off, man, everybody fled, man. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be these hard Crips that's around him. All the hard Crips, Cowboy, Rimpaw, all of them fled inside the building, right? We didn't see Nipsey Hussle's brother come until the shooter had left the scene. You know what I'm saying? And so when danger comes, man, we're supposed to be there for each other, man. And we gotta take that more seriously, just like the whole George Floyd situation, man, when he got a knee on his neck, stuff like that. We got to be there for each other.
Yeah,
right?
man. And so that's how the Most High was able to take people like David and Moses, or people that used to keep sheep and keep cows and things of that nature, and use them because they're literally willing to die. Right? He said, David said that he fought bears and lions. They're
For
willing
sheep.
they're willing to die for animals. So the Most High God knows if they're willing to die for animals, they'll definitely die for their own people, right? And
being a cowboy is all about building character, man. And building character is just building those characteristics that one needs as a man, as a protector, knowing that these sheep, they're hurting animals, they're prey, they can't fight back. So somebody has to fight for them. Same thing for our peoples. A lot of people don't look at it like this, but as a man, as a protector, that's how you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Getting down to the forefront of people that can't protect themselves, right? The lame, man. The blind, the young, and the old, right?
Yeah, man. And the thing about it is too, like the brother said with George Floyd, right? If our people were willing to die for each other and we weren't as selfish of our own lives as we are, we were really willing to die for each other, we wouldn't have the problem of police brutality. We wouldn't have the problem of oppression at the state that we see it now. But we don't have those zealots anymore. We don't have those Essenes anymore. We don't have those Sakari members anymore. We don't have that, right? We have people that join forces with the enemy, right? We have people that are scared of the enemy. We have people that disappear and flee, right? 10,000 flee at one man, right? Those curses are on us, man. And we scared. We don't know the power that we possess to protect one another. Let's read verse 16.
Verse 16, and other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Right? Read this.
Therefore doth my Father love me, because I laid down my life that I might take it again.
Right? So that's why the Father loved Moses, David, Amos, Abel, all these people, man, because they were willing to lay down their life for an animal, right? Because at the end of the day, the first precept we read in Genesis, he made us ruler over the animals. So we got to be able to protect. If you plan on ruling over something, you have to be able to die for it too, right? A lot of people, they want the rulership, but they're not willing to die for the things that they're going to rule over. And that's why they haven't been chosen to be rulers, right? Verse 18.
Verse 18, no man taketh it from me, but I lay it down myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received from my Father.
Right. And so like the black cowboy, right? Nobody told me I had to care for him like this, but I do it of myself, right? Because I know I'm commanded spiritually to look after these animals. So he gonna do it. And we commanded spiritually to look after our people, right? Let's go back to the video.
Can I show a video real quick before you finish it out?
Yeah.
Really fast.
And I want to add too, man, this reminds me of a situation where I don't know how many years ago this was, but it was this video camera footage showed from a house where this man was walking with his daughter, and he seen a dog, and the daughter seen a dog, and he wanted to show her the dog. Somehow the dog got out, and what happened was the brother jumped on top of the car and left his daughter, on the ground. And she's running from the dog on the ground, and he's on top of the car telling her to get away from the dog. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's the type of person that you shouldn't, I guess you could say that's the type of person that you shouldn't be when situations hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? Scattering and leaving the ones who you're supposed to be protecting out to dry, right? because at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for you to truly be a real herdsman spiritually if you can't even do certain things physically now. You know what I'm saying? From the will that the Most High put within you. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. That's how our people are today, man. Skittish and afraid and not willing to step up for the plate. Because one thing this society has done is made us love our lives a little too much. You know what I'm saying?
Comment,
Um,
if you think about that whole viral boat video where that one dude threw his hat up in the air and the other black people rallied to help him beat all the Caucasian people up, and it went viral. You got to see, man, the world is waiting for our people to get on one accord like that. Once we get on one accord like that, nobody's going to take advantage of us. So even though that video went viral, it was kind of spiritual in the sense of, man, if we stand together, there's nobody that can come against us, man. We already draw so much attention and fame and popular culture and things of that nature. But imagine if we stuck together, man.
and that's
There
on
would
a
be
minor scale,
right.
man. That's on a minor scale, not to cut you off, but think about what was going on, man. You had men hitting white women with chairs and stuff, bro, and nobody was complaining, right? And I bring that up to say, man, sometimes when you read this Bible on the street, people get offended, and that's not right and that's not fair. But when it actually is going down, you see how our people really think otherwise. And so that lets me know that in conversation, people like to be politically correct so they don't be looked at a certain way. But at the same time, when that whole harbor incident happened, I didn't really see no black people speak up against it. I
Yeah,
can't recall nobody speak up against
it'll
it.
be
Well,
the
I will say that first my only situation with that was that because at first, instead of helping to jump in, man, the first brother that was on the scene was just kind of like trying to separate. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, no, And sometimes, man, that's cool and all, but sometimes you need people like the young brother that swam from, you know what I'm saying, the boat he was on across to the other side of the dock to be able to aid and assist in that situation, because a lot of times, for the sake of, like the brothers were saying, just for sake of conversation or just for sake of how you're viewed in this lifetime, instead of attacking the actual point, you're just going to try to play devil's advocate for both sides and say, hey, why can't we all just get along? And you don't want to be that person either. You got to know when it's expedient to say, okay, hey, let's all take a chill pill, and you got to know when it's expedient to ride for your people or your cattle, or, you know what I'm saying, anything that you have, your possessions, right, to protect.
yeah, man. And our people, man, we know how we are, man. We know how we get down. But Christianity was like crack cocaine. I say that because we know how we would act in a situation, but when we bring up conversation, right, we want to speak against what we know we'll actually do, because Christianity has brainwashed us to think that we can't stand up for ourselves and we can't defend. We have to turn the other cheek, X, Y, and Z. We don't read things in context. We don't read history of our foremothers and our forefathers. We don't see what God had our foremothers and forefathers do to other nations and stuff that came against us. And so we believe that we're supposed to turn the other cheek, knowing it's in our innate nature to want to defend ourselves and to defend our people, right? So the same people that will be all on social media talking about why y'all got somebody kissing the boot, why y'all got somebody bowing down to y'all, they're the same people that will get a chair and hit a white woman, right?
And
But
it's
they
so
don't
crazy.
see that because the Lord is mentioned and because the Bible is being read. So that's what I'm saying. Christianity is crack because we can't put two and two together because we don't know we're the people. So a lot of times people ask us when we're on the street, why y'all always trying to tell people who they are? It's because until we understand who we are, the people of the book, we can't complete the mission. We can't complete the love that we're supposed to have. We can't complete our nation's culture until we know who we are.
Come on, man. And 9 times out of 10, man, once you really get down to it and you ask people personal questions, like, come on, bro, somebody were to break in your house and do X, Y, and Z to your loved ones, what you doing? I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna have to get into it. You know what I'm saying? Then they truly start to say what they would do. But when you look at it, everything on a bigger picture, then they want to be politically correct. But at the end of the day, it's going to come a time where that bigger picture becomes so personal where everybody does feel like they have to do something, man. We're just waiting on that time, right? But I just brought this video up right here to show that these are our Hispanic brothers and sisters, right? But just to show that the same things we was doing back in the day, man, like the Black Cowboy was saying, right? People are still doing it today, right? I want to play this real quick, just a short little clip, right, of my brothers over at the PV Farms.
It's the man of the hour right here.
I know, dude. I had to sneak out, bro. How are you? What's up? I had to sneak out.
And keep in mind, they've been moving cattle all day as well, and it's time for them to chow down. And what do they got? I forgot what kind of
Eggs,
what's the setup he said
bacon,
this was, but it's the same thing, man. They got it propped up and got a fire underneath it, right?
peppers.
And they're making it, and they're making it food. And a lot of times, man, you know, he said our main course of meal was probably some meat and some red beans, right? And if you think about it, man, in Hispanic culture, that's really all they really eat, man, is some beans, rice, and some meat. You know what I'm saying? And it's because in their culture, it was one of their customs to keep livestock, to be shepherds, to raise animals and stuff like that. And that's even till today, right? And
well, you got to respect everybody.
one of the things about it is you got to understand these type of things. I'm gonna mute this and let it play while I talk. But these type of things, right, that they used to do is the reason why their cultures are so close knit. The reason why Black culture were not close knit. The reason why Hispanics will die for each other and they will stick up for each other. They'll in-house each other with no problem. They'll have good times and all that stuff, because not only is this stuff, building character, but it also builds relationships with each other, right? When you got to be out all day and fellowship with your fellow brothers and sisters, right, and all accomplish a goal. There's a reason why God said that husbandry is ordained, man, in all aspects, even the fellowship part. As a Black people, as Negroes, African Americans, we don't do enough of this stuff. That's why we're not close knit like we should be, right? We rather get corporate jobs, sit in cubicles by ourselves, right? We don't ever want to go out and just be with each other unless it's for some folly and we twerking with no clothes on and in clubs and stuff like that. But stuff like this, right? Keep in mind, 9 times out of 10 when you're doing this stuff, I would, you would be sober in your right mind, but you creating memories, you creating that camaraderie in that relationship. And that's what's missing in the Black community, right? Because they have got us from being the Black cowboy that's talking in the further videos to being these city boys and city girls out of our element, worrying about the wrong things, worrying about some Jordans, worrying about chains and got to get to the bag. And we have gone away from our custom, our culture, our heritage, which is what in Genesis says that us and our fathers have always been about cattle our whole lives. And so why would we abandon that stuff when we see that in the past, that type of stuff built our character? That type of stuff with people known us for being hard workers, protectors, right? And getting the job done, right? And now they look at us as lazy, bougie, ghetto, right? Because we have abandoned what we have been from the beginning of time. Even like the brother said, even from in Genesis, right? So I give kudos to our Hispanic brothers and sisters for still upholding that heritage. And we can see how tight knit their communities are because of it, because they haven't abandoned that culture. Pecan.
Yeah, man. We kind of known for like unleavened bread and stuff like that. And we see them always with like the flatbreads and the tortillas and things of that nature, man. It's kind of almost like, I know there's some brothers that don't count them as our people, but it's kind of like, man, they carry a lot of the attributes of our forefathers and our foremothers, man. It's kind of hard not to see it. But let's finish this video out.
He wouldn't say, how's my cattle getting along? He'd always say, Kay, how your cattle getting along? See, that's what he said. Kay, how your cattle getting along? Yeah, that's the way it was. See,
yeah, man. So, at the end of the day, I'm not going to pull the scripture, but at the end of the day, we wasn't given it's not our talent, right? But he gave us our talent, right? In the parable of the talents, right? And when he comes, he's going to ask what we did with our talent. We can't say it was never my talent. I know that you're a hard man and you was going to come back for your talent, so I just hid it in the earth. No, he wants you to multiply that talent. He wants you to treat that talent as if it's yours so that he can give you more, right? And so like he said, when I meet the owner, he don't say how's my cattle, he asks how your cattle doing, because he's entrusted me with this cattle. So we've been entrusted in life, right? With cattle of our own. What does that look like? It looks like family. Some of us in our immediate families now, in the truth, we have cattle we got to take care of, right? Spiritually and physically. Friends, right? We have friends that we got to look after mentally, spiritually, and physically, right? Because friends, be going through it. You got brothers in this truth you got to look out for, sisters in this truth you got to look out for. A lot of the sisters in the truth, y'all got to look after other sisters, man. Y'all's community, that might be cattle for y'all, right? That you guys got to help out and give advice and encourage and things of that nature. Also for the sisters' children, right? These children, when we look at the order written in Corinthians, the man is over the woman is over the children, right? So the man can tell the woman what to do with the children. It's up to the woman to delay that message, not the man. It's up to the woman to protect that child. It's up for the woman to teach that child. It's for that woman to do that, so that those children become the cattle of the woman. She got to know those. She got to know those children and what's best for them at any given moment, right? So they could be cattle, right? People you may meet at work, right? You may be on the job and you might meet somebody at work and, give them the gospel. And now guess what? They become cattle. So God's going to constantly put cattle in your life, whether it's from birth, you birthing them, whether you ran into somebody randomly, whether you know what I'm saying, you join an organization. He's constantly putting more cattle in your life, and he wants to see what you're going to do with that cattle as a good shepherd, right? I'm gonna pull out the brother Foster's precept so he can break that down real quick.
Not the government.
Oh, Salakia. Foster just means to pastor, so I nicknamed Yeshaya Foster for the sake of the video, man. He's a pastor in these sheep, man. That's another word for shepherd, right? Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Salakia, go to verse number 1. I think it is. Go to verse 1. Khan.
Verse number 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Khan. To present our bodies as a living sacrifice is our reasonable service, man, because our body is not our own. Our life is not our own. Like the brother Danal said, this world has taught us to love our life a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? To where we just think we're above certain things now. We're above doing what we were accustomed to doing, even going back to the book of Genesis, right? So we have to each and every day. It doesn't matter if you don't own like a land right now and own cattle and have a farm and got boots and stuff like that, right? Don't take this video on a physical level and say, well, I don't got that, so this doesn't apply to me. No, think about all aspects of life that you have to be a herdsman or a shepherd for or towards. Again, you're responsible for people other than yourself, especially if you have a job, because by you doing what you need to do, it'll make sure that the company that you work for runs smoothly, right? Or if you supervise people, or if you have children, or if you have relatives, loved ones, or if you're a believer in the word, like the brother Azrael, all these things he was just naming, right? If you're somebody who has people around you, friends, family, even your possessions, you just got to kind of treat these things and present your body as a sacrifice to show the Lord that, hey, one, you're grateful because it's your reasonable service, and two, not to be complacent and get lazy and forget how to, you know what I'm saying? I guess you could say labor for what you want. in this life, because sometimes it's easy for people to get rich quick. And that's why all everybody want to do nowadays is do the scamming, to get rich quick schemes, right? But sometimes you find more joy in things when you work for it, when you work from, you know what I'm saying, can't to can't, when you sweated, when you ached and pained and got tired. So that's all I wanted to leave uh for the viewers today. And mighty lesson.
Con, what I'm gonna do right now, man, I'm gonna put it in presentation view and take us off the screen, and I'm gonna play the video without interrupting it. Brother said 1,000 Mexican Americans fought in the Civil War to free black slaves. Also, 1,000 or 10,000 black slaves ran into Mexico, and the Mexican government took them in, and we fought for the black slaves' freedom, right? And we also know that them tablets was found in Mexico with the Hebrew writing on it, right? With the Ten Commandments, right? So we know that. Con, man. So we know a lot of the, and you know, a lot of the Native Americans, they'll tell you the history of them, that they are the same people as the Mexicans or the Mayans, right? A lot of them will say that as well, especially kind of towards that area of Mexico and Texas and stuff like that. So, you know, over here at the Hopeful Elect, man, we do believe that, you know, our Hispanic brothers and sisters of Negro descent, man, are our people as well. But yeah, like I said, man, I'm gonna play this video from the top as we close out.
You gonna play the full video through?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna play it to yeah, I'm gonna play the full video. And for the brothers Azrael and Denal and Yeshaya, if y'all brothers want to log out in the lobby or whatever, y'all can or whatever. We done with the lesson. I'm just gonna play this video uninterrupted because I know some people, like, they get irritated when you always stopping the video and not letting the video play. So I'm gonna play this at the end for them.
Hey, fair use. We don't own the rights to this video. We're just using it for educational purposes.
God, man, fair use. With a brother Deacon say, our thoughts and comments on this video. Our thoughts and comments on this video. Shout out to Genesis. I got the G on my hat, man. Big G's, not the little ones.
That's not no G. That's a C.
Guardians? What are you talking about?
That's a C for Cleveland, dude. That's not a G.
Oh, me and my wife was looking at it. We was like, that's a funny looking G.
It's a C, bro.
That makes sense then. We was definitely looking at it like we definitely was looking at it on a car the other day. We said, dang, man, that looked like it looked like a C.
It is.
I forgot they was in Cleveland, my boy. So I guess it's not big G's, man. You learn something new every day. If I can get this thing to refresh. Bear with me.
We got up and worked from can't to can't. You know what can't to can't is? Can't see when you get up and can't see when you lay down.
How long was the day? I say from 3 o'clock to 9, 3 o'clock in the morning, 9 at night, for 50 cents a day. And now people going, well, every time turn around, they want a break. A break. Man, we didn't know what a break was. On time, we got something broke about our bone.
You eat breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning and then take a ride out there all day. And drink water whenever you had a chance to go around a windmill. If not, there was artesian wells that the water bubble up. You would try to get the fresh water and drink out of the same trough that the cows would drink out of. There was nothing to do that. And we would ride all day, put tassel in our bag to eat lunch off of. Tassel, that's I guess you would call it beef jerky nowadays, but it was tassel. that we would eat. Just take you a sandwich, and then you come back in the evening. That's when you ate your big meal.
We gotta cook, and don't make him mad, because you do. You come in, you won't be no dinner cook. Everybody can't cook on a camp. You see, they use Dutch ovens and things like that, and open fire and racks and everything. They might take a quarter of a cash and build a rack, run a rod through it, and build a fire under the meat. And every once in a while, you turn it over, you see. You keep turning it over. That's your good eating.
Our main dish was pinto beans. Well, it wasn't pinto beans in those days, were red beans. And it take you half a day to cook a red bean, but they put them on so early in the morning until, my Lord.
We used to run cattle from the Duke Ranch out to Greeter, and that was about 18 miles where we would drive cattle. You get up early in the morning, you drove cattle all day practically. You didn't get out there till maybe about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, driving maybe about 1,000 head of cattle to be shipped out. And I did that I don't know how many times.
Do everything I can to improve the cattle that I'm taking care of. And one guy told me, he said, you show more interest in the cattle than the man who owns the cattle. Well, whenever I ride the pasture and come in the evening, he wouldn't say, how's my cattle getting along? He'd always say, Kay, how your cattle getting along? Say, that's what he said, Kay, how your cattle getting along? Yeah, that's the way it was. See,
you practically knew every cow in the herd, you know, even though you haven't seen that cow in maybe a year, but you still knew what certain herds had different cattle, and then you just about know, so well, you know, that old cow, she lived in the bottom there last year, now she's moved to the prairie, now she's hanging around the lake, you know, because you knew exactly where certain cows would normally do their roaming at that time.
We have what we call a pasture rider. He oversees everything, and he reports to the ranch what needs to be done. You see, if the cattle is getting pretty ticky, well, it's dipping time.
That dipping vat is a long chute made, I guess, about 5 feet wide, because you get some cattle in there pretty hefty. And it's deep right in. You see, when you slide here, the cow can't turn around, and so you get that hollering at them, and all the confusion, they hit that water, and some of them trying to jump across it because they see the other cows, and they'll jump. And when they jump, down in the water they go. And that water gets all over them, and then they start swimming out. They had the ticks on them, for lice or whatever you wanted to get for that. That killed the tick. The ticks were these little old ticks. They had little specks on them, and those were fever ticks. What the Days Cowboy do, they got the electric pump, and they got there, and they won't even have a gasoline pump like they used to have. They'll put electric lights all over that pen and get that and spray them. Well, what kind of a cowboy is that? Got up and worked from camp to camp. You know what camp to camp is? Can't see when you get up and can't see when you lay there.